think we can all agree that we'd like to live in a happier, healthier world. But sometimes things just don't work out that way. In 2009, the FDA was given the power to regulate the manufacturing, the distribution, and the marketing of tobacco products for the health of the consumer. Now, this is great. This is going to help a lot. However, my editorial seems to think that it can use this power as some sort of magical cure-all for the addictiveness of smoking, as well as somehow reduce the deaths involved in smoking. This I don't agree with. So in this argument, I'm going to talk about the main claim, which I do agree with. I think it's well thought out. But I'm then going to discuss the subclaim that I don't agree with. And then I'm going to have 3 subclaims that I feel validate this argument, and why I feel each of these are well given evidence as to why this subclaim doesn't. So, the main claim states that despite the many gains in reducing risks over the past half-century, researchers keep finding new and insidious ways in which smoking is harming the smokers themselves and non-smokers who breathe in the toxic fumes. The claim of fact works well. It's got plenty of evidence to back it up in the editorial. However, when you get to the end of the editorial, it says that the FDA should use its new powers to reduce the addictiveness and harmfulness of smoking and reverse the design changes that have made cigarettes even more dangerous than they were in previous decades. This claim of policy is not very well thought out at all. There is a lot of problems with it, and it feels like it was just used there to end the article on a high note, and it's just, there's a lot of problems with it, which I'm going to discuss. First of all, I disagree with the fact that the FDA would have the technology to reduce the addictiveness of cigarettes. That is something that is a lot harder to do than this article seems to think it is. And the evidence that I have for this is a claim of fact, pretty much, that the FDA does not have the technology or the power to change cigarettes that much. And my evidence pretty much states that cigarette smoking contains more than 7,000 chemicals, including at least 69 known carcinogens and many other toxins that are implicated in major diseases. Now, that is a lot, and I don't think that the FDA can change cigarettes so drastically that it's going to change just how deadly they are. There is a lot of chemicals in them. Now, whether or not these chemicals are the cause of more deaths is something that can be disputed. And another thing that this article seems to state with this subclaim is that the design changes can be reversed, which I don't think they can. It's a lot harder to change something than this article seems to think it is. And whether or not this change is actually going to help with the problem is something completely else, because it's difficult to identify an ingredient added into tobacco because of the ppm concentration range, which is my evidence to my second subclaim, which pretty much states that the tobacco design cannot be reversed. Maybe tobacco was more healthy back in the early 60s, but I don't think that we can get back to that by reversing what's already happened. The design changes are something that's completely irrelevant to the manufacturing of cigarettes. And the idea that this might be the reason is really not very well thought out at all. Thirdly, I have a claim of value, which pretty much states that it's wrong to assume that the FDA isn't already doing everything that's in its power to help with the problem. I mean, if you just go to their website, you see all of the things that they're trying to do, including reduce regulate the sale and distribution of cigarettes to children. I mean, really? That's great. I think that is perfect. I mean, if we could just get cigarettes to stop marketed towards children, I think I'd call that a win. And I really think this editorial was being a little too ambitious, thinking that this was going to be a easier fix. So, in conclusion, I think that this editorial was just a little too ambitious. And maybe it just needs to calm down a bit and figure itself out before trying to claim something so drastic. Thank you, and good night.